Whoops. Let me hide all my menu item there. That's better. Just less clutter. You don't need, I mean, it's not a privacy thing. I just don't want to distract you with a whole bunch of menu items that are otherwise irrelevant. Hello, and Mudshark. Cheers. Might be just you and me. I'm willing to go at this. Hey, not just Mudshark. Welcome back, Janos. 94. Well, let's see here. Without much of an introduction, other than to say, I think this might be the last time that we do this particular series. Like, I feel like we're that close to getting the output that I desire from this survey analyzer. And so that will hopefully be the end of this series. What will I start next? I don't know. I would like to do some non-live recordings and start producing more blog content. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, there may be other projects that come along. I do have an ancient Objective-C app that is still out in the store. It's just a freebie that I made for a relative. But, you know, I could, for example, convert that to, to Swift, but I don't know how interesting that will be for people. But let's get back to our survey. And by the way, if you've been watching, or if you have just recently started watching, give us a like on YouTube. Few more years and we will tell, yeah, we'll all have the stories about when I was a kid, I wrote UIKit, I suppose. Hello, Yav Solo. Oh, we got a few more people than I expected. I thought you would all be, I don't know, pumping. Oh, maybe you are pumping back the drinks. Hey, that's fine. If this is your idea of a good time, then welcome. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I was saying, if you're watching this on YouTube, give it a like, subscribe, hit the bell, and do all those things. But for you Twitchers here, welcome. Where are we? I had just used approval tests, which if you hadn't seen in the last episode, if you go to approvaltests.com, this is the idea is not new, but the Swift version is new. And I've been working on it along with the creator of approval tests, Llewellyn Falco, and this project was initially started by my coworker at Industrial Logic, Matthew Carlson. And this is so I'm actually been spending my sort of my Christmas relaxation days trying to beef up the documentation, adding it to the Swift package index so that people can find it more easily. And when it's in use, why, it looks like this, to say, let's get all the problems and verify them. And here's let's see, here's the problems list. Looks like that. It's just, in this case, a dictionary. What's nice, whoops, I lost all that. Come on back. Get back in the corner, you counter. One nice thing that approvals does is for example, to write out a dictionary, it actually sorts the keys for you to make it easier to read. Because part of the whole idea of approval testing is to have human readable output that you decide whether or not to approve the change, whether to approve the change or not. And I had a thought, you know, a couple times ago, there was this problem with spaces appearing in the keys. And I suspect that that was actually a red herring solved by getting rid of, in the actual, where's the actual survey? Here's the actual survey. Getting rid of, or skipping over any commas that happen to be in the freeform input. And I want to try that out. So if we go to, where was it? Weighted entry tests. That's ignoring the problems. Should trim leading spaces. You know what? Let's disable this. Because I kind of want this to fail. And if we go to weighted entry, where is it doing the trimming? Here it is. If I get rid of this, having disabled that test, actually, let me just prove, I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing here. If I disable this, that is, if I remove the trimming, I believe that this one test will fail, the one that I expect, but I get my answer. The pipeline test did not fail. So this is now garbage. I should be able to get rid of it and get back to green. And why am I bothering to do this? It's because, as I was taught by a mentor many years ago, code is not an asset. When I shared this at a recent client, some eyebrows went up. Code is not an asset. It is a liability. What it does, and what it encodes, the knowledge that it has encoded from people, and the work that it performs is the asset. But code itself is a liability. It's a minus. And so here, this code was not really doing anything anymore because we fixed the underlying problem. And since it's not useful, it's a negative. Its presence there is harming my code. Let's see, do I need to convert this to a string? I think I do. I'm going to check this in first. So this is, basically it's a feature change, but it doesn't really affect anything. I'm going to say this is a refactoring where, no, let's call it a feature. Don't trim spaces after all. This was fixed by ignoring commas in freeform input. All right. Do I need that? Yes, apparently I do. All right. That's fine. We can convert it to a string. Okay. And the pipeline tests continued to run. It continued to pass. That's the important thing. These these results remain valid. Now, what we have currently in our pipeline is the ability to, well, let's go to the pipeline. The pipeline is where, excuse me for a second. Let me clear this out. This is an error in a plugin. The pipeline takes all my pieces and joins them together so that the data flow starts from one massive string and it breaks it up into an answer accumulator. Inside the answer accumulator, we can ask for these things: scoring all the problems, desires, and killer features, which returns dictionaries. Dictionaries mapping the keyword that I assigned to a score. And that's what we see here. What I would like is to sort by score. I want to see the top scores. So let's see. Let me try this thing that hasn't worked, but I think I've fixed it up. And that is, that is still live. Wave my hands. Right, so I would like to take a dictionary, a string to int, and I want to convert this into is it an array of tuples? I want to sort by that integer. And this is all part of TDD, is trying to figure out what is it that I want. Do I want to show maybe it's like, what would I like to see? Maybe I shouldn't go by what I like to see, but by how I want to use the data, because maybe I want a threshold on a score, or maybe I want to see the top, 10, the top 10 list. I think I should keep the string and the integer as separate, not try to join them together. So let's say it's a tuple. How about like this? An array of tuples. Keys sorted by value from highest to lowest, essentially. Except, we can't just spit out a dictionary, because then we lose that ordering. But yeah, that's what I want, Solo. And wow, it looks like finally, the camera that I started with, I finally figured out the OBS issues I had, and the answer was put the camera on every scene, even if it's hiding, even if it's not showing. Otherwise, what happened was when I switched to a scene that didn't have a camera on it, the camera would lock up, or the input from the camera would lock up, and it would just freeze. So this looks more useful. All right, so looks like I can keep that there as a reference. If I forget and something gets in the way in the corner and that you want to see, just let me know, and I can hide that. So that's the goal. Let's just start somewhere. Where will this go? Will this go into the answer accumulator? I don't know. I don't think so. This might be a different thing. It's like it's really a standalone function. I don't know that I need a whole object for it, but I might want an object for it in order to refine it and say, give me the top 10 or something like that. So let's, how to do this? Let's start by creating a new test. And this is TDD for you. Hello? Uh-oh. My new MacBook Pro won't be coming here for another couple months still, due to the supply chain problems. Let's see, this goes into, yes, but into the tests, and we'll call it, what is this thing? This is like if I have an answer accumulator, it's in like an answer order, top rated answers ordered by score. Sorted answers, ordered answers, answers by score. I'll just go wordy here. Answers ordered by score. And the first thing I'm going to do is run test to make sure that my test is 0. And right away, it forgot this little issue that my template takes its best guess at what to import, but it's not always right. I expect the test 0 just to spit out a nice failure. Then I can start working in here. And what do I want? Score, high scores first. That's sort of expresses what I want. And it may be the only thing this does, we'll see. Starting with an assert first. And I'm wondering if I actually want to use approvals for this. If it might not be easier, but let me try with an assert equal first. I want to say the result is going to be an array of tuples, where it's going to be like what are my Fibonacci? The Fibonacci numbers don't really matter, but I want, yeah, I'll just put in something here. Say P1 is 10. Something like that. That might be okay. Let's keep going. So, doing name first. I'm following some new disciplines that I've started teaching, which I've learned at Industrial Logic. Do the name first, the assertion first. This work backwards. This is going to be this should Why is this still... Oh, we've got the problem of tuples are not equatable. At this point, I think I will switch over to approvals. Because they will make my life easier. Let me express this as an approval. Come on. Verify sort of the result. Let me just slap these in here just so I can sort of see what it looks like. This is kind of a weird way of doing this, but it's still TDD. What I want to do is run this through to see if my approvals kind of look okay. It's going to pop up this thing, and I do not like this. That is not good, and that's because I forgot that for arrays, and let me show this again. For arrays, when you verify something in approvals, it just, and you don't specify otherwise, it's going to use Swift's sort of built-in encoding to string, which puts everything into a single line. That's not friendly. I can instead say verify all. Why is it complaining here? Oh, I need a label. My label is going to be, I don't care, empty. Now let's see what this looks like. This should be better. Much better. Just to give you an idea what that label is for, first it lets me I wonder, maybe now that if I'm using verify all, not verify, then label could be have a default value of empty. But let me just show you what this looks like. Inside of here, this is, if you want to say, put it into more like something that looks like an array, that's what you get. But I actually don't care for that. All right. So my job is to move this from a hard-coded thing into let's do some weird TDD. I'm going off-road here. Let me approve this. And essentially I want to do at this point something like TCR, which is test and commit or revert. And let's lock this down. This is going to be, this is a test only change so far. It might be kind of fun to do this in real TCR. For those of you who are not familiar, let's see what we got. I thought I would find something from Kent Beck. Here it is. Here's, if you look at, look for TCR test commit revert, you'll see a few videos from Kent Beck. It's a more extreme style of TDD, but it's slightly different. And you see it in the name. It's actually test and either commit or revert. I'd kind of like to try this. In fact, I think I have a TCR plugin. Installed. It's not called TCR though. The plugin isn't. What was it called, or did I get rid of it? Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find this. The easiest way to look for plugins is to look for IntelliJ plugins. Limited whip. That's the one. You can see from my history that I've been here. So let's see if we can't find this. Limited whip. Let's try it. Let's have some fun. I'm going to install this. Oh, it's going to restart my, my app code. And let's see if we can't do test and commit or revert. I've played with this plugin very briefly once upon a time, but not sort of for real. So this will be my first time using it. Where is, here we go. Limited whip. Let's enable it. No. Change, I don't care about the size. Auto revert, test and commit, here we go. It's a plugin. It has a, looks like it has a few different things. One is to say, whoa, the number of lines you've changed is getting too big, and it's going to run tests or something like that. I'm not sure what auto revert does. Oh, that's for working in baby steps. So this one is to say, you know what, if you haven't done anything in like successfully advanced in 2 minutes, I'm just going to revert on you. And that is a way to, and it's got a little warning there, to get you to move in small steps and commit. Well, let's try TCR. On pass test commit. Let's have a notify on revert. Interesting, it has a thing not to revert tests. This is usually a challenge for folks coming from TDD to TCR, is that the workflow is a slightly different, because if it ever goes red, unlike TDD where you want to go through red, in TCR you do some trickery. It changes the order of things, so it's like don't go to red ever. And it looks like this is an option to soften that rule for tests only. Let's try it. It's still loading my symbols. Oh, there it goes. All right. Now, let's give it a try. What I want to do to verify that TCR is in place is change one of these numbers. and save. Or is it running tests? I bet it's on running tests now. We'll see how this integrates with approvals. I'm using two new tools at the same time. So will they work together? Let's find out. And so there's it shows the change in the value, and there. It set it back to 8. Let me prove this to you again. All right, if I run tests now, I could set approvals to not pop up the differ, but I'm going to leave it alone. And, oh, come on. I thought I was being so bold. Do this again. I'm disappointed. I'm holding it wrong. Oh. It looks like this is why. When I do this, this is actually a setting change. I need to exclude like my plugin settings from Git. Let me do that. Because what it did was it reverted this. All right, let's get back to a clean state here. And let's change our git ignore. It needs to be bolder. I think I need to say, you know what, just exclude everything. Something like that. Let's try it. Don't really care for any of this other stuff. Let's try it. I'm sort of cheating here. If I change my git ignore, and now if so that it shows up there. If I change this value, it should not. Nope. That's not it. Okay, where is it? What's going on? How do I say just ignore every freaking thing inside of here? Anyone good with git ignore? Entire directory. Yeah, so long. That's sort of what I'm wondering. Let's see. It looks like I should just be able to slash that thing. I'm a little surprised that it wasn't working. Let's save this. Let me commit this in one step. This is an environment change. Ignore all code settings. And now if I do this, darn it. didn't work. You have to delete the files from the repo. Ignore only works for files you haven't. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Garbob. That makes sense. All right. So I should be able to go into inside of here and say I don't want to, here's the thing. I don't want to just wipe out the folder because it has all my settings and I don't want to lose those settings. I just want to remove them from Git. So what do I do? It's everything in here. So it's a various files and a directory. Help. Git remove without deleting. All right, let's try this. Let's go back up. Sorry, you can't see my commands very well. I'm normally in a dark mode, and I have not adjusted my colors here to match, so I realize it's very hard to see. So if I say git remove everything, but it should all still be there, good. And let me add that. Okay, so now let's give this a try. If I turn on TCR now, ta-da! Thank you. And this, once again, is why collaboration is so important and why even on things that you think are trivial, maybe, well, I shouldn't say that, but on most coding things, you really want to work with other people, probably more than two people at a time. If pair programming was extreme for its day, the new extreme programmers are now doing ensemble programming, otherwise called mobbing. And thank you to my bot that just slammed out somebody. All right. I am old because I have lived. How do I do this? I'm just going to ban you. There, I figured it out. Finally. All right. Now we should have TCR enabled. And now let's come back to our tests. Hang on a second. It wasn't these tests, it was the answers ordered by. Here we go. Now let's do this demonstration. And in fact, I don't want it to keep popping up the differ all the time. So let me show you something else. You can change how to diff something by specifying a particular reporter. If you don't specify a reporter, I've just been adding this documentation to F1. Come on. I'm not going to give documentation there. Well, I know what I want. I want a reporter, report contents with XE test. Now let's see what it does. Now it will not pop up a thing. Instead, I expect, hey, this is TCR, to vanish. Boop, and it's gone. All right. This is turning out to be more interesting than I thought. I thought we would be done today, but let's see if we can't TCR this. So what I want is to move this from a hard-coded thing into a place that does work. Let's see here. So the result is not going to be this. It's going to call answers ordered by score. It is kind of funny, but let's keep going with this. So you have to code in reverse, kinda. The danger here is that if I run tests right now, what's happening here will disappear, and that's in strict TCR. So let me actually say, you know what, don't revert test code. And let's turn on that notification. Result, and I want to pipe in. So I don't get to confirm, I don't think. This is do or die. Yeah. It gets a little scary. Kind of fun. Let's start. I want to pass in this except not as an array but as a dictionary. So let's say kind of like this. Right? And because it's a dictionary, I mean, the order really won't matter. Right? Whoop. Come back here. I want to do something like this. All right, let's try this. First thing I'm going to do is create a new type. We'll make it a struct. We'll put it into survey core. That will answer that problem. And then I want to say create method sort. Yes, that looks good. Except it should return something. Whoop. Oh, it didn't know what the type was. Let's be very explicit about this. And say, uh-oh, did I lose that? No. Ah, it's still there. All right, wipe it out. Start again, create the method. There, that's the prototype I want. Except now I'm going to cheat. And I'm going to say, you know what? Take this and return this. All right, all I'm doing is shifting things out. It's not even paying attention to this. Let's run this and see if I get to keep everything. I actually had it keep tests, didn't I? Okay. So that's the scariest part is losing your test code. So this is good, but it's oh yeah, the whole idea. So Kent Beck was working. Kent Beck, who rediscovered test-driven development and formalized it. I'm glad you're having fun. This is scary. Was working with somebody, I can't remember his name, in a workshop, and they were talking about the pattern of, like, in test-driven development. Oh, if you run into a problem, you can always get back to green by reverting. And this person said, what if we just made that automatic? And Kent, as he describes it, says, that just sounded like such a bad idea, I had to try it. And then that led, so they discovered together the new flow called TCR. And the whole point of it, because it's a dangerous game, is it forces, what they discovered is that it forces you to move in smaller steps. So right now, exactly. Every time I run tests, it's actually committed. Let's take a look. Unfortunately, it's reusing the same use commit from last commit. Let me change these. This is going to be basically it's TCR. I'm just going to call this TCR here. Actually, this is where it started, I think. Oh no, this is ignore all app code settings. Let me just do a quick rename here so that it's clear. Right, so every time I've run tests now and it's passed, it's made a commit. So the commits are automatic. In that way, it very much encourages small commits. If I change this, this will still pass because it's ignoring it. But this is not correct. So let's, instead of going through and sort of creating a second line of input that forces us, let's say, you know what? No, let's just use the answers and sort them. Here we go. Let's take the answers. Let's add a return statement here. But then you need, welcome Boroma apps, but then you need to go through rebasing, squashing, fix-ups, rewording. Well, you mean in order to get, like, open this onto the trunk? The thing is, I haven't pushed, but I could push these. Yeah. So I guess one way to look at it is right, to have a nice Git history. I could, because this plugin is setting a message for me. It's actually not a bad message if you know what TCR is. But you could, because it reuses the last one and gives us the target, it can keep committing. All those could go into trunk. Now, if you want to clean it up before you push to your main branch, you can. You could squash it. But why? Why lose those small steps? I used to worry about having a nice history, but I'm more interested in having my everything in the history be green. And this guarantees that. All right, let's get the answers. Here we go. Now I need your help again. We have a dictionary. I want to convert this into an array. So what do we do? Here we go. Let's do answers sorted, except I need, well, let's see what it does. I'm just going to let's find out. Will this even... Woo! Dang. I had no idea that sorted by would do that. Hoo 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 hoo. I can now clean out these commits, remove this. This is an awful lot of structure for one little function, a one-liner. I thought it would be more complicated. Sorted returns the elements in the sequence. What I'm surprised by is that it turned it into tuples for me. Magic! I'm going to run tests again. And just to prove that this is good, let's change this. Let's say, whoops, I put it in the wrong way. And let's watch it. Keep your eyes on that less than. Oh, shoot. But it turned it into greater then. And it notified me that it reverted. I thought I changed that to... Oh. Here, let's do this again. Report. There we go. Now let's do it again. Just to be cleaner and not have the differ pop up. Ready? Still takes a few breaths. This will be better on my new Mac. Woo! Ha ha! It's really fun. Wow. Well, now I should be able to actually decide whether I want all that machinery just for one little thing. Except, as I said, I might want other things, like, getting the doing that and then taking the first 10 or something like that. So I'll leave it for now. This turned out not to be my last one. This turned out to be a completely unexpected exploration into test and commit or revert. Let's call it a good time. It's I don't like to go take too much of your time. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, give it a like and do all the things. But thanks for coming by. God, this was fun. This was a blast. I really love it when we do something unexpected and it's collaborative, and you're helping me out. We're working together and we're discovering some new things together. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Will I do this again tomorrow? So any ideas on the next series of videos? I really don't know. If you have ideas, send them to me on Twitter. That would be the easiest way for me to see them. I've got a whole bunch of stuff I want to make as far as content goes. But yeah, I guess we'll have one more in this series to see this through to the end. Either that or I'll just do it on my own. I don't know. I kind of want you to see like the final output. So let's plan on reconvening again tomorrow. If all goes well, send out the notifications on Twitter as usual. Okay? Take care, folks.